Welcome to Mark Medley's Everything Disney.
To ensure a safe and pleasant trip, you should be in good health and free from high blood pressure, heart, back or neck problems, motion sickness, or other conditions that could be aggravated by this adventure. Expected mothers should not lie. Once you board this paratransport, please remain seated with your arms, feet and legs inside, and remember to watch your children. Your transport will be arriving shortly. Asante sana. Enjoy your adventure at Kilimanjaro Safari. Bienvenidos a Kilimanjaro Safari. Para su seguridad, permanezcan sentados, mantengan las manos, brazos, pies y piernas.
Asante Sana Warden, as we like to say out here in Harambe Twin Day. That means, let's go. Jumbo everyone, how's everyone doing today? Good, that's always good. My name is Lex and I'm going to be your safari guide for the next 2 weeks on our 2-week-long safari through the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. I do have a couple of safety reminders before we get out there. I do need everyone to remain fully seated at all times. This is for your safety and the safety of the animals. We want to ensure everyone who starts this 2-week-long safari off with us is also going to end this 2-week-long safari off with us. So make sure you stay seated. If you have little ones, they are welcome to sit on your lap. Just make sure they stay seated. Don't raise them up in the air like they are baby Simba, and don't pass them around like they are a hot potato. You're also welcome to take as many pictures as you would like. Remember to hang on to all those items pretty tightly. Heading here into the little tree forest, on our right hand side is our first animal. This is the okapi. It has that brown coloration with those white and black stripes lining its legs. Most people assume that this animal is going to be related to the zebra, but it's actually the closest living relative to the giraffe, which is often why it gets the nickname the forest giraffe. Just in front of that okapi here are some greater kudu. These are female greater kudus. You can tell that because they do not have horns. Male greater kudus will have horns that can extend up to 6 feet off their head, which is depicted on that animal spotting guide in the bottom right and left hand corner. Coming up here on the right hand side, we do encourage you to be a little bit quieter. This animal is pretty skittish. That was a bongo. Bongos get the nickname the ghost of the forest because they do a great job camouflaging, hiding in all those bushes there. As well as a black rhinoceros to the left hand side here. Black rhinos are the smallest of the rhinoceros species. They can weigh up to 2,000 pounds. And although they are 2,000 pounds, they don't have any natural predators. Their biggest predator is going to be the human. Some humans believe that rhinoceros horn carries a medicinal value. However, that is not scientifically proven. And rhino horns are made of the same thing as our fingernails, which is keratin. Another black rhino here on the left. Rhinos are not the only animal in this little tree forest that needs your help. All of those animals do. That's because they are suffering from deforestation. There is also a saddle-billed stork over here on the left-hand side. This stork is kneeling right now, and it can actually stand at about 5 feet tall when it's fully stood up. But it also does have a wingspan of about 9 feet, which is the size of the canopy on top of your head. And it does get its name from the yellow saddle-billed part on top of their bill. Using less paper products will help all the animals out there in that forest environment. So think about using less paper when it comes to using napkins. Using those napkins that can go into your washing machine, but also those cups and plates that can go into your dishwasher instead of into your recycling bin. We're heading down here onto the Safi River Valley. The Safi River Valley is home to some pretty large animals that like to be fully submerged underwater. That animal is the Nile hippopotamus. Coming up here on the left-hand side. These animals are nocturnal, so they're going to be night active, staying submerged underwater for the majority of the day and coming out at night to graze the grass for their food up to a mile away from their normal habitat. These white birds that are sitting on the island there are called pinked-back pelicans. During the day, those male pinked-back pelicans are going to spend most of their day trying to find a girlfriend. Yes, they are trying to find their mate. What they do is they swim around and find sticks. They try to find the biggest, the tallest, the longest stick that they can find and present it to those lady pelicans out there, hoping that they will become mates. Coming up here on the left-hand side are some Nile crocodiles. You'll notice that some of these Nile crocodiles do have their mouths open. That's their way of cooling themselves down, kind of like how a dog will pant. Nile crocodiles can get as long as a giraffe can get tall, coming in at about 16 feet in length and weighing about 500 pounds. They do have a pretty impressive bone-crushing jaw there. Can crush up to 2,000 pounds of pressure at a time. Although they are very vicious animals, believe it or not, they're actually very good parents. Crocodiles will store their eggs in their mouths till they're about ready to hatch. Once those eggs are ready to hatch, they like to roll them around in their mouths, making that hatching process a little bit easier for their babies. We'll be heading down here into our next ecosystem. This is the savanna. The savanna is home to lots of different types of animals, like grazing species, who act as the natural lawn mowers of the savanna out here, as well as my favorite animal, the giraffe. The giraffes you're going to see out here on this reserve are called Maasai giraffes. Maasai giraffes have a very jagged pattern to them, which make them very indistinct, unlike the reticulated giraffe, which is on that spotting guide there. You're going to see all 5 of those baby giraffes coming up here. You can tell that they're baby giraffes because they're standing only about 8 feet tall. Giraffes are born in at 6 feet tall and they can grow up to that 16 feet marker. But those giraffes are born in a standing position and experience a 6-foot drop into the world. That animal that just vocalized there is an Ankole cattle, and it is a form of domestic cattle, but it's not used for its meat or its milk. It's used as a status symbol in Africa. So the more Ankole cattle that you own, the wealthier you are considered. Those very large horns that they have there can get up to 10 feet apart from tip to tip. They're made out of a honeycomb-like structure, which their blood will circulate through to keep them cool on those very hot days out in Africa. Here on the left are some African wild dogs laying on the ground there. African wild dogs also get the nickname the painted dog because of that coloration that they have there. African wild dogs look to be a little bit cute and quite cuddly, but they are actually the most successful predator out there. They have about a 90% success rate. That's because they hunt in their packs and chase their prey to exhaustion. African wild dogs also feed their babies by regurgitation, which is what birds do. On the left-hand side here are some sable antelopes towards the back there. Those are the emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. They have very tall horns there, which are slightly laid back to prevent their predators from jumping on their backs. You can tell who the oldest of the sable antelope herd is by who has the darkest colored coat, so opposite of human hair. Also on the left-hand side here are some white bearded wildebeest. White-bearded wildebeest are the second most densely populated mammal, with humans coming in as the first. When it comes to nighttime for those white-bearded wildebeest, they lay down relatively close to each other but facing all different directions. This is so if they're startled or they sense danger, they can run away without running into each other. Another giraffe here to the left. Giraffes are going to spend the majority of their day eating, about 18 to 20 hours a day. They use their very long prehensile tongues to grasp the leaves from the tops of the trees out here on the savanna. Those tongues are about the size of your forearm, and they're actually long enough that if those giraffes wanted to, they could lick their own eyeballs. Giraffes are also only going to sleep for about 60 minutes a day. They do that sleeping in short, small increments, usually 3 to 5 minute naps throughout the entire day. There's a second half of animal here. They're going to go about 55 miles an a smaller antelope coming up here on the right hand side, and that is going to be a springbuck. Springbucks are small, but they are definitely very athletic. I like to call them the s'mores antelope because of that marshmallow belly that they have there. Those animals can jump 6 feet directly up in the air and run about 60 miles an hour. They do have a behavior which is called pronking, which is where they lift all 4 legs off the ground and it kind of looks like they're flying through the air. We're going to start by heading deeper into the savanna here. I see some broken down trees, so that's a good chance that there is going to be some larger animals over here. Here on the left-hand side are some mandrill monkeys. Kind of look like Rafiki from The Lion King. That's because this is the monkey that Rafiki was based off of, the largest monkey. On the very top there in the rock. Mandrill monkeys also have some similarities to chipmunks. That's because they have pockets in their cheeks which allow them to store their food. They can store as much food in their cheeks as they can in their stomachs. Coming up here on the right hand side, there's me an African elephant. African elephants are the largest of the elephant species, weighing up to 20,000 pounds. They have some pretty flexible trunks there. Those trunks can have up to 100,000 muscles in them, which is why they're so flexible. Just to the right and left of an elephant's trunk are its tusks. Elephants' tusks are used for lots of different things. They can grow up to 18 inches long. That's how you can distinguish how old an elephant is, by how long their tusks are. The longer the tusk, the older the elephant. Elephants use their tusks for lots of things, but humans also use them illegally. About 96 elephants a day out in the wild are poached for those ivory tusks, so that ivory can be sold on the black market and made into things like jewelry. Something else that elephants use their tusks for are scraping. They like to scrape those tusks against red clay, which is what we're driving through right now. You will see some tusk marks coming up here on the right hand side. Red clay has a lot of vitamins and minerals in it, which those elephants aren't going to get from their very high vegetation diet. A couple more elephants here to the left. The elephants to the left are most likely going to be female elephants, and that's because they're standing pretty close together. They're herds. Elephants live in a matriarchal society, meaning those females are going to stay with the other females and the young. Those males are going to separate from their herds, forming smaller groups called bachelor groups. Bachelor groups of elephants usually consist of around 2 to 3 males.
Y la elefante tiene 2 años de embarazo. Mentira. Ese caterpillar en la
These trees on the right hand side that kind of look like they're upside down are called baobab trees. Baobab trees remain leafless for about 9 months out of the year. That's to conserve water. Animals can break the bark off those baobab trees when they are in a drought to receive that water, which is often why the baobab tree will get the nickname the Tree of Life, which is the emblem of Disney's Animal Kingdom. The baobab tree over time will also start to decay in the center, making it hollow. So sometimes in Africa you'll see trees that are 50,000 years old turn into houses and restaurants. Coming up here on the left hand side are some flamingos. This is a flamboyance of greater flamingo. If you pay attention to what these flamingos are standing on, their island is the largest hidden Mickey on Walt Disney property. Greater flamingo are the largest size of the flamingo species, weighing in at about 9 pounds. They get their very light coloration from the type of shrimp they eat, those brine shrimp, which is high in beta carotene, turning their very light pink, or turning their light gray coloration that they're born with into a very light pink. Flamingos are not usually a migratory species, however they will migrate due to issues like water quality and pollution. A way that you can help stop this unnecessary migration is by ensuring all of your plastic ends up into the correct place, into the recycling bin, so it doesn't end up in these animals' habitats. See a white rhinoceros here to the left-hand side. White rhinos weigh in at about 5,000 pounds. They can actually only see about 10 feet in front of them. If you look at their mouths there, they have very wide mouths, which is actually how they got their name from a mistranslation. The Afrikaans word "weit" means wide, referring to those very wide mouths. Weit got mistranslated into white, which is why they're called the white rhinoceros. White rhinos also like to roll around in mud. That mud adds an extra protective layer to their 3-inch thick skin, helps to keep them cool on those very hot days out in Africa. The rhinoceros that we saw earlier will be seen in a group because they're solitary, but these ones get referred to in a crash, which is a group of rhinoceros. There's a cheetah all the way to the very left-hand side towards the front there, in between those trees, those parallel trees there. All the way to the very left. Laying on the ground. Might be a little bit hard to spot though. Get it? Because they're spotted. There's 2 of them here in the second yard. Cheetahs are the fastest land mammal. They can run up to 70 miles an hour. However, these cheetahs are definitely sprinters and not marathon runners because they can't hold their speed for very long. They're going to do the majority of their hunting during the day, and that's because they have black spots underneath their eyes which help reflect the sun, allowing their vision to be better during the day than it is at night. They're definitely not your typical house cat, but they do still make those sounds that house cats make. They are the largest cat known to purr and the largest cat known to meow. This rock formation here to the left-hand side is called a Kopi rock formation. Kopi rock formations usually house those larger cats like lions. Lions are nocturnal animals, so they're going to be night active. During the day, those lions will sleep and they'll come out at night to hunt for their prey. Female lionesses are going to do the majority of the hunting for their pride, which is what a group of lions is called, while those male lions are going to stay back and watch over the young and their land. You can see that male lion in the very center of that rock there. You can tell that is a male lion and not a female because it has that very large mane. That mane can weigh up to 50 pounds in itself. Lions also do have some pretty large padded paws which help them sneak up on their prey.
allá hay otra. Igual viste que ahorita vive, o sea, anda saltarán.
Those lions' coats are the reason why their numbers are declining out in the wild, because they are being sport hunted in Africa as trophies. Something Disney is doing to help stop this is partnering with a bunch of different organizations in Africa, forming the Protect the Pride. The Protect the Pride's goal is to help double that lion population out there from 20,000 to 40,000 by 2050. See a warthog here on the left-hand side, towards the right of this very large tree where I am right now. Sitting on the ground there. Warthogs are actually very good recyclers. That's because they find other animals' burrows and then dig them bigger so that they can fit inside, because they're the largest burrowing creature. Warthog in Swahili means foolish one. Coming up on the right-hand side here are some ostrich eggs, an ostrich and some bantaba. Bantaba are considered a conservation success, and that's because there was only about 17 of them left out in the wild. So like Farmer found some, help bring their numbers back up. Now they are only existent out on reserves like the one you're on right now. Ostriches are birds, however, similar to penguins, they cannot fly. They use their wings to steer them as they're going upwards of 40 miles an hour. Those ostrich eggs were laid by the ostrich out here on the reserve. They take up to 45 days to hatch. They can weigh anywhere from 3 to 5 pounds a piece. Those eggs are very strong. It's that a full-size human can stand on top of those eggs without them breaking. However, I definitely don't recommend doing it because those ostriches can run up to 40 miles an hour, and I'm not very much help because my truck can only go 8. Coming up here on the left is a scimitar horned oryx as we enter the last part of our Harambe Wildlife Reserve, the Magadi Glen, home to some very thick and rich vegetation and some blooming flowers I see here. A scimitar horned oryx is a pretty impressive animal. That's because it can withstand temperatures of up to 115 degrees outside before it starts to sweat, but it can also store water in its body for up to 9 months. All the animals out here on this reserve are here for a reason. They are either close to endangerment, endangered, or close to extinction. Reserves all around the world, like the one you're on right now, use lots of different conservation efforts to help all those animals out. Some things you can do here in Disney's Animal Kingdom is simply taking pictures of all the animals that you see and sharing them on social media. Because here in Harambe, we believe that what you see in your eyes is truly what you feel in your hearts. So share those pictures with your friends, your family, and your neighbors so that they can see what you saw with your eyes and also feel it in their hearts, coming together to make a change for all those animals out there who can't make a change for themselves. We also do have the Disney Conservation Fund here at Animal Kingdom. Disney will match every single dollar that you donate to it, and you can do that at any merchandise stand around the park. Now it does look like our 2-week-long safari is coming to an end. With the help of some Disney magic and some animals, of course, probably only felt like 21 minutes and 22 seconds. Getting over to Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail and the Maharaji Jungle Trek to see some more animals today. The Maharaji Jungle Trek is located in Asia. The Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail is just to the right of the safari exit. There are 2 baby animals on those trails. On the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail, there's a baby gorilla. Her name is Grace. She's about 8 months old. She's absolutely adorable, like sitting out with her mom by the glass. So I recommend heading over there. But also, if you want to take the train to Conservation Station at Rafiki's Planet Watch, you can go over there to the affection section and see the baby goat. I encourage you to take a look at your rows. Make sure you have all your personal belongings. It's a very long trip back to Africa at the very end of the night when you realize you left your keys on the Simba one. Now here in Harambe, we do not like to say goodbye. It's a little bit too far and a little bit too final. So instead we say kwaherini, which means to go well. I invite you friends to go well, go wild, and have a great rest of your day here at Disney's Animal Kingdom.
This has been a Rock and M